Hello all, my name is Prabhakar. I'm making a series of videos available to you to learn Amazon Web Services, and in this session I'm going to talk about how to integrate a MySQL database with your Lambda function. Here is the content for today's discussion. So I'm going to set up a MySQL and Lambda function, and I'm going to integrate my Lambda function with S3, and so I'm going to fetch the CSV file content from S3, and that content I'm going to insert into MySQL using a Lambda function. Here is an example which I'm going to use. So as a client, so as soon as the client copy CSV file into S3 bucket, and from your Lambda function, I'm going to fetch that S3 file content, and that content I'm going to insert into a MySQL database. Let's go ahead and then create a Lambda function and a MySQL DB. So here is my AWS management console. So here I'm creating a MySQL DB. For that, I'm using RDS. That's a relational database service. So I already covered a detailed video how to create Aurora, how to create a PostgreSQL, and how to create a MySQL databases in a separate video. So I have specified that link into the description. You please go ahead and then check that. So here I'm creating a database here. Create a database, and so it will prompt me that choose the type of the database. I'm using it as a MySQL here. There are two options are available here. So one is a standard method to create, and second one is easy method to create. If I use the easy method to create, so it will choose the default settings, so that again I have to go and then I have to modify the few settings. So in order to access that database outside of the AWS network. So that's why I'm choosing it as a standard creation, so that I can choose all required configuration here and go down, and I'm choosing the MySQL version. So there are plenty of versions are available. I'm choosing the default one here, and so I want to create a MySQL database only for the demo purpose. So that's why I'm creating it as a free tier, and the below, so the database identifier, I'm choosing it as something like a transaction hyphen instance. Okay, and credentials, default username is admin, and I'm specifying the password for that. Okay, welcome 99, and welcome 99 is my password for accessing the MySQL DB. And the DB instance, it is one of the important factor here. So based on your operations, you can select the type of the instance and the performance. So for the demo purpose, I am selecting as a T2 micro, which is eligible for the free tier. So that's why I'm selecting as the minimum configuration. And the second one is storage. So by default in a free tier, so I can get a 20 GB of free space for T2 micro for running the MySQL instance. So that's why I'm selecting as a 20 GB. And this auto scaling is not required as of now, because so once you reach the 20 GB, then it will automatically do some kind of auto scaling. So that's why I'm removing that. And the connectivity point of view, this part is very important here. So click on the additional connectivity configuration. So here you have to enable this publicly accessible, because so now for this demo I want to access my DB instance outside my mission if required. So maybe, so if I want to perform some actions within a Lambda function, so I can go ahead and create a new. So for the time being, I'm choosing it as publicly accessible, and go down below, I'm choosing the VPC as a default VPC, and availability zone I can choose the first option, because here North Virginia, so default one is US East 1, so I'm choosing it as US 1A. So it's up to you. And the default port is 3306, and go down below, and there are some additional configurations and the database instance. So by default it will create a database for you, but so inside that, okay, it will create a plain database, and they don't have any databases. So I'm creating the database also here, like I'm using the database name as employees. Okay, and scroll down below, and I don't want any kind of auto backups are required here. So, and I don't require to copy any tags for the snapshot, and I don't require any maintenance. I'm using it as much as low configuration here, so in order to run my database for this demo quickly. And now go ahead and then create a database. So I have successfully created a database, and it will take a couple of seconds to launch the database. So by that time, what I'm going to do that, okay, so I'm going to create S3, and inside S3 I'm going to keep the CSV file, and at the same time I'm going to create a Lambda function here. So for that Lambda function, what I'm going to do here, so here I already have prepared a code snippet here. If you see that, I already prepared a GitHub link. So here what I'm going to do that, okay, so here I'm going to create a RDS code is the directory, so where I'm going to create a function called a Lambda function, and I'm going to use the library called py-mysql. With the help of that, I can do the MySQL operations on that. And Boto3, so I'm going to connect it to Boto3 S3, and I'm reading CSV file content from S3. And once the CSV file content is read, then after that I'm connecting to my MySQL database by using the provided endpoint, username, and the password. Then after that, scroll down below, and so inside that, okay, so I'm reading that data and I'm looping that, and then I'm inserting the data. So inside employees table, where I'm inserting only the name. Okay. So instead of creating a code from scratch, okay, so I already prepared that, and now go to the services and search Lambda function and create a Lambda function here. Okay, so I'm using the Lambda function name as S3 to MySQL. Okay, so if I use S3 to MySQL, okay, and run type, I'm choosing it as Python 3.7, and the permissions, okay, so either you can leave it as, okay, create a new role with basic Lambda permissions, or you can use the existing role, or you can create something from the policy template. I already created a role, so which have admin access role here, but from your side you can create a sufficient role which can access only the RDS instances. Okay, so now go here and create a Lambda function. Now I created a Lambda function successfully. Now what I'm going to do that, here go back to the source code. Okay, so this source code I already prepared that. You can go to the source code. Here what I'm going to do that, okay, here I'm going to install -t and the current path, okay, py-mysql. So if you install that, okay, it will download the required packages on that, and you can find here is py-mysql, and it's a dist information. Now I have available library files are available inside that. So already I have rds.zip file. Okay, what I'm going to do that, so inside that, so I have prepared a file called, so if you see that, okay, I have a file called Lambda handler. So instead of doing it as Lambda handler, I can rename it as the Lambda function. Okay, Lambda function. So now instead of using that mv, okay, I think vi, and the Lambda underscore function dot py file, and inside my this code snippet, okay, what I'm going to do that, I'm copying this entire code snippet here, copy this code snippet and put that code snippet into inside that window. Okay, and save the changes. So now after that, okay, you can use the zip -r, and if I use rds code dot zip file, any file name you can specify, and the dot is the current directory, so it has created a zip file for me. So now go back to your window and inside your Lambda function, okay, so you can find that the default code is already available. So you can import that code snippet from your local machine, click on actions and upload a zip file, and inside that, okay, there is a RDS code, and here is a rds.zip file. You select that and import a save changes, and it will import all the code and all the libraries into inside your AWS, and you go ahead and then and do some additional code changes for that. Okay, if you see that, okay, so I have successfully imported that. I only need to do the few changes on this because I have to specify the endpoint of my MySQL. So for that, just go to RDS and just check that, okay, whether your DB instance is already created or not. Okay, so and go to the RDS, and inside this RDS, and 1 DB instance are running out of 40. Go to the instance. Okay, now it is available to use, and I can copy the endpoint here. Just copy that endpoint, and you can put that endpoint into this endpoint section. And so coming to the username is a default username, and the password I have changed to welcome 99 is a the default password which I have used, and the DB name which I have specified as employees. Okay, and that's it. So after that, what it is going to do that, so I'm going to copy S3 file. Okay, so before that, I'm going to integrate my Lambda function with the S3. So now go to S3, go to services and S3. So here I'm going to integrate my Lambda function with this S3, so that as soon as I copy any CSV file inside S3 bucket, so that this Lambda function will trigger automatically, and then it will read the data and it will insert that data into the DB. Okay. So at the end, I'm going to write code snippet here, so that so it will display all the records. Okay. So select star from employee, and then I'm displaying the row. Okay, now save the changes. Now go to the S3 and create a bucket. So the bucket name, I'm choosing it as a TechUp-bucket. Okay, and create a table, create a bucket. So once I create that bucket, okay, go to the bucket. So here I can integrate my bucket with the Lambda function. So by using the properties, go to the properties and the events. Okay, when you want to trigger your Lambda function for the type of operations or event happen in S3. So these are the set of events which support S3, so that so as soon as you create any object inside S3, like you copy or you put new element or you rename that, so that I want to trigger the Lambda function, so that I can specify that Lambda function. So we can also trigger the SNS and SQS, and I want to trigger the Lambda function. That's why I'm choosing it as a Lambda function here, and choose the type of the Lambda function, and the name of the Lambda function is S3 to MySQL, which I have created, and click that. Now I created a Lambda function and I have integrated with my S3 bucket. So now it's time to upload a file. Okay. Now go to this file, and before going to the file, okay, I'm opening the Excel file. Go to the file, employees. Okay, so here is the data which I have. So I can use it as something like a Prabhakar and Harsha and Praveen. Okay, and some additional data. I'm only picking only the name of the employee. So save the changes. Now go to S3 and add that file. Okay, so here is a file called employees.csv file, which have 3 records. Copy that file and upload that. As soon as you upload that file, okay, file is got uploaded. So now you can go ahead and then check the cloud log, so where the data is ingested or not. Okay, you can go to services and you can check the CloudWatch. Okay, so inside this CloudWatch, and if you have a MySQL client is installed on your local machine, you can connect that and you can query, and then you can check that. So inside that log groups, and where I can see that the complete log. Okay, so how many records are inserted, and what kind of data inserted, and all the details I can see it in the log messages. So here is a log. Okay, if you see that, so I have these arrow marks which will indicate that. Okay, so these arrow marks which will indicate that I'm iterating over the S3 file, and this indicates that, okay, so I'm reading the data from the MySQL database. Okay, if you see that, here is the data. So, and the table name which I have created with auto increment ID. So if you see that ID is an integer, which auto increment, and I'm storing the name as a varchar 255 characters, which will support. So this is how I can create the Lambda function, and I can integrate with the S3, and I can pull the data, whatever the data I'm copying it on S3, and that pull data, so I'm going to insert into the MySQL. So I hope you enjoy the video, and we come to end of this lab, and I hope you get a chance to work on the Lambda function and integrate with the S3, and as well as this S3 content, you can put it onto the MySQL. Okay, so thank you so much for watching this video.